paradox of origins, egg versus hen. This exploration delves into the classic evolutionary chicken and egg riddle, reframed through a script-based dialogue and a detailed scientific analysis. It's the oldest question, isn't it? Which came first? If you need a hen to lay an egg, but the egg to make the hen, we are trapped in a loop. It feels like a paradox, but only if you assume the chicken arrived fully formed. Biology doesn't work in firsts or finished products. It works in incremental changes. So there was a point where a creature that was almost a chicken laid an egg? Exactly. Imagine a bird. Let's call it a proto-chicken. It was 99.9% chicken, but not quite there. Through reproduction, a tiny genetic mutation occurred during the formation of the zygote within the egg, and that mutation made the baby inside that egg the first true chicken. Precisely. The parent was a proto-chicken. The offspring, encased in that shell, was a chicken. Therefore, the egg existed before the bird we identify as a chicken. So the egg wins? From an evolutionary standpoint, the egg, or rather the mechanism of shelled reproduction, predates the species by millions of years. The evolutionary viewpoint, the egg argument. Evolution is a process of gradual change over vast timescales. Species do not appear spontaneously. They diverge from ancestors. Genetic mutation. Evolution occurs via mutations passed down through generations. A mutation that creates a new species must happen at the moment of fertilization or during early embryonic development. The transition. At some point in history, two birds that were not quite chickens, proto-chickens, mated. Due to a small genetic mutation in the zygote, the resulting offspring possessed the DNA characteristics we define as Gallus domesticus, the chicken. Conclusion. The biological chicken began its life inside an egg laid by a parent that was not yet a chicken. Therefore, the egg came first. 2. The amniotic advantage, the creator argument. If we widen the scope from chicken egg to the broader concept of the egg as an evolutionary milestone, the answer becomes even more definitive. The amniotic egg. The transition from water-dwelling life to land-dwelling life was made possible by the evolution of the amniotic egg, roughly 312 to 340 million years ago. The milestone. This development allowed embryos to develop in a self-contained, protective environment, independent of water. The hierarchy, amniotes, animals that lay eggs, existed hundreds of millions of years before birds, and birds existed long before the modern chicken. Consequently, the egg as a reproductive strategy is significantly older than the hen. 3. Why the confusion exists. The confusion persists because language forces us to categorize living things into fixed species labels. We view the hen as a static identity. In nature, however, species boundaries are fluid. If we could view the entire ancestral line of a chicken and fast forward, we would never be able to point to a single egg and say, this is the very first chicken egg, because the transition was a slow, multi-generational slide rather than a sudden leap.